Welcome back to the final chapters of Age of Mythology Retold. My name is Kim, and this time we're going to wrap up the campaign, finishing the Norse chapters on the Titan difficulty. If you haven't seen my Greek and Egyptian guides for the fall of the Trident Campaign, I recommend you watch those as well, if you're interested, as those cover the first two parts of the story. Last time we finished chapter 20, and it's time to roll around in the mud a bit with chapter 21, Old Friends. Cersei turns us into boars, and we must reach Zeus's temple to escape this bacony fate. Keep your boars in the front, and don't let any of the enemy villagers get near your pigs. Advance along the path, breaking the enclosures to rescue more units, and take care, as when you release pigs from their pens, villagers will try to rush them down. Position your boars to block them as much as possible. Once you've rescued all the friends you can find, walk through the tower alley, right into the temple, and become human again. Now we can pick one of two bases to set up our camp. I went with the north one, since it had fewer defenders, and the dock with the fishing ships will come in handy. Build a settlement and start gathering resources to age up. On the right side of the base you can find another pigsty and a relic. Defend against the enemy waves and age up with Dionysus for the Hydras. Make at least one catapult and get some upgrades for your units before starting the attack on Cersei's fortress. Keep your spearmen in the front to deal with the horsemen, and focus down the fort. Once it's down, the mission ends, and we can say goodbye to Odysseus and start the Norse chapters for real. Chapter 22, North. The first Norse mission, and oh how I love it when we get to switch factions. There are 4 settlement locations you can pick from, and I prefer to build it in the top right one, as we'll have plenty of space, and we can strike early against the first enemy. Start building the settlement as you regroup your units to journey to the new base. Be careful, as there are Fenris wolves around the map that will prove tough for any party without a hero. Once the base is done, build a temple, and just to the right you'll find a relic, defended by Ornlu, hero of the wolves. Start building an economy and age up with Forseti. We'll want a cheap myth unit with a wood cost to spam and hold the backline of our army. While aging, build some walls to discourage the enemy from attacking those sides. Once we reach the second age, build a barracks to train a few spearmen, as well as trolls. Don't forget to drop down the healing spring in front of the base, leaving your army to regenerate. When the units are ready, attack the pink enemy from the north entrance. Each base has 2 gates, and one of them will have an extra tower for defense. Get in, take down the fortress and the temple, and this AI is out of the game. And we can now head back home to heal. Make an armory and set out to deal with the orange enemy to stop the frost giant attack waves. With the second one down, the red player with the full base remains. Age up with Bragi for the flaming weapons and boars. Build a fortress to train 2 portable rams. Get a few upgrades from the barracks and forge before starting the final assault. His army melts instantly, and once we get inside, the rest of the base is toast. Take down the temple and the mission is won. Chapter 23, the Dwarven Forge. And here's where the fun stops. This is a horrible one, as giants will keep spawning in unholy numbers. But let's start from the beginning. Move the people to the right to claim the first settlement. Take out the giants and trolls while also scouting our side of the map. We'll have to plug all the holes except one to funnel the enemy attacks. Start by building your economy, erect a temple and a barracks, and start training Valkyries and axe throwers. Make a forge and build a second settlement for even more villagers. Age up with Skadi for the ice giants and bonus to axe throwers, although in retrospect I feel the flaming weapons would have been a better choice here. Defend against the enemy attacks. After enough waves, you'll get the Ride of the Valkyries achievement for healing 4000 HP with them. Get a decent economy going and start pushing the tunnel to the left side first, to take out a small enemy camp. Return to the main tunnel and don't bother with the right side, as there isn't anything of value except some relics. Now this is important. Age up with Baldur, as the fire giants and Ragnarok are essential here. From the forge, take as many upgrades as possible, including the throwing axeman bonus damage to buildings, and keep a small number of them in the back of your army. They're the siege masters that will melt buildings for us. Just don't get them too close to the fire giants as they'll disappear instantly. With a decent number of fire giants, it's time to use Ragnarok and transform all of our workers into heroes. The only way to defeat the infinite giants. Push further into the cave and attack the left side base. Use the X-Men to level the buildings quickly, and just look at this spawn rate, it's insane. Once the base is clear, we now have a healing spring, and we let our units regenerate before going forward. Don't forget to save in key moments like this. At the same time we're taking down the enemy base, they're razing ours to the ground. So we build a dock on the nearby river, while also rebuilding the destroyed houses and settlement to raise the population cap. Make a single transport ship and in a few runs, cross the river into the enemy base. We do this to avoid the forge area, which is teeming with enemies, and we don't want to accidentally capture the forge too soon. Level the enemy base, every barracks, every house, every temple. If you can target it, take it down. I also got Zeus Eat Town Center here. Once everything is destroyed, we fight the remaining troops before pulling back to the spring to heal again. Once we're healthy enough, move in and clear the forge. A timer will start, making us defend the forge for 12 minutes. An impossible task on this difficulty with the enemy base still up, but once you kill the last enemy unit, the mission will end instantly as there isn't anyone to defend from. I didn't expect this one to take so long. Chapter 24, not from around here. In this mission, we follow the totally normal old man Skuld to bring his banner to the north part of the map. Start by destroying the enemy temple to the left to avoid getting attacked from this side. Take down the second temple and build a base to gather some resources. If you remember my advice from the previous mission, not to block the enemy path fully, well, in this mission we can do just that. Scout around a bit and find the choke point on the upper right side of the tunnel, and use your Dwarven Mine God power to block the passage. A single infantry unit can pass, but not something as large as a giant. Build a temple and train only Hersirs, as the enemy will only send myth units to fight you. Deal with the attack waves, heal up at the fountain, age up with any god as it won't really matter on this mission, and take out the left tower and temple to secure a gold mine. And optionally block that passage too with a gold mine. In the new age, train some rams and start attacking the boulder wall. Once you get it low enough, a giant army will spawn from all sides. Abandon the rams and move forward with your units. Once Skuld, the trusty old man, and his flag bearer arrive at the marker, the mission is won. Chapter 25, Welcoming Committee. This one is probably the easiest and fastest mission in the game. Take your army to the first camp, bring the flag bearer to the front, and wait for the enemy to sally out of their base. Kill the leader, and their troops are now yours. Repeat the process at the next camp. Place down a healing fountain if you're feeling wounded. And use the bronze armor before fighting the last one. Even if this chapter is short, I appreciate it when campaigns have story missions like this. Not everything needs to be a 40-minute fight to the end. Once the last leader is down, the mission ends. Chapter 26, Union. This is a fun one. Turns out Skuld was just 7 crows in a trench coat all along. Move forward to the first village and help them deal with their troll problems. You have a temple available to train some units if you need to, but with the starting heroes you can definitely take out the troll cave. Just watch out for the insane spawn rate from the underworld passage. Once it's down, take your heroes and main units to the beach in the camp and train a transport ship. About the time your heroes arrive, so should 2 krakens and some giants. Clear out the attackers and garrison your troops in the transport ship. And go to the far left corner of the river, where you will find the only enemy dock. Once you destroy it, as well as the transport ship, the enemy will no longer attack you. Also, do not go in the nearby village, as you will activate the enemy base as well, and they will start attacking us and the villagers in the process. Age up with Njord and build a small army until you hit the population cap. Make sure you have plenty of spearmen as well as upgraded giants. When ready, move through the Green Gate to find another village. Keep a few units back to build the defense towers required to ally them and push forward with the rest. When you have enough towers, the village is yours. Attack the enemy base using the giants to target down the production structures. Here, I got the Anger Problems and Norse Space Program achievements. When that's done, make a heal fort and advance to the next stage with Balder for more Ragnarok action. After getting a maxed army with all the upgrades we can get, use Ragnarok to transform your workers and bring everyone to the last village. Here we must push into the enemy base and take down a lone tower in the back. Start by using the Undermine power to level the enemy walls and towers before assaulting the base. The giants should focus the production buildings again, while everyone else mops up the units. This is the moment where Annihilation popped up for me, 10,000 units killed in total. Once you destroy the tower, we allied the last village and the mission ends. Chapter 27, The Well of Urd. Now we must break down the gate that blocks us from heading into Niflheim. Start by going to the left to take out a small enemy force, as well as a town center. Send one of your units to make a small wall above the 2 gold mines, as well as one above the new town center, as on this mission there are multiple paths the enemy can take to reach you, and we should wall 2 of them to funnel all the attacks by stationing your army to the right side. There are plenty of resources on this mission, especially on the small island to the right, many hunts, berries, gold mines and forests. So don't feel pressured to attack quickly, build up a force and get enough upgrades and myth units. Age up with Njord again and train axemen and the gaudy heroes for some excellent range damage against myth units, and of course a few giants. The enemy attack waves shouldn't be too strong, and once you age up to the last age with Balder, use Ragnarok again to attack the enemy base. Take down the gate blocking the Well of Urd, and kill the fire giants that came out of it. Once the last giant is down, the mission will end. Another easy one in the back. Chapter 28, Beneath the Surface. This is an easy one, but we must move fast. Send your dwarves to mine the gold in the underworld, and bring your heroes back. Train maybe 2 units from the starting cache, and go. Attack the orange enemy as he ages up, taking out his temple and town center. After you clear out the villagers, return to the well as an attack wave is on its way, and losing it means we lose the whole mission. After the wave is defeated, build up an economy now that you are alone in the top side of the map, train more units, Codis, some Valkyries to heal, and a few Heresiers to keep the front line. It's time to attack the ram. Move your troops in the underworld, and deal with the enemies on the path. When you reach the ram, focus down the defending fire giants, and once the last one is dead, the mission ends. Chapter 29, Unlikely Heroes. Another fast one, use your dwarves to mine all the gold while also using your god powers to spawn more. The more gold we gather, the more reinforcements from the surface we'll receive. Defend the root and the dwarves from any attack coming from the top. When Itri arrives with the hammerhead, don't bother doing too much with him as he'll get overwhelmed and killed quickly. But the enemy will take his cart to the top of the map. When the root reaches a certain threshold, the Nidhogg will spawn, and our only ranged hero Reinglif can deal with him, so pull back your army and your dwarves and let her take him down. At one point, the enemy will break down the stone barricade, so make sure you have the handle ready by then, as it's time to go. Charge through the enemy as fast as you can, and when the death wall reaches you, push everyone towards the end. If you can get the haft close enough to the hammerhead, the mission is won. With the last Tartarian gate this side of Scandinavia closed, we only have one last defense mission with the Norse. Chapter 30, All is not lost. This is a strange one. On one hand, it's quite a hard mission, where you have to survive for 30 minutes, but on the other hand, it has a really easy strategy. Let's do the cheese this time, as I'm sure you can do it the intended way, with enough practice. Start by sending one warrior to build a dock at a nearby lake, and send the other ones to build a town center. We want to start the timer as soon as possible. Once that's done, queue up a transport ship, and our next priority is to age up with Skadi for the Frost ability. Use the market if you want to. Load all of your military units into the transport and wait out the 10-minute timer. When it elapses, a lovely cutscene will play and snatch our heroes from the ship. At this point, all hell breaks loose, and we must abandon the siege weapon and make our way to the ship again. Don't worry if your heroes die on the way. Once the enemies clear out, you can send someone to revive them, and you should also heal them with Drying Leaf in a safe corner. Now, as we enjoy life on a boat, with our base in ruins, it's time to wait for Gargarensis to appear. That means going to make a cup of tea. See ya in 17 minutes. Once Odysseus arrives, we can safely ignore him and wait 30 seconds before making landfall at the top right corner of the lake. We want the enemies to settle down a bit first. Take the right path below the second lake, and when the Death Army is in sight, use the Frost power to lock them in place. And target down Gargarensis. Just make sure you don't freeze him as well. Once he takes enough damage, the mission will end, and we'll also get "This is for Chiron," marking the end of the Norse chapters, but not the end of this campaign. We still have 2 more missions to go. Chapter 31, welcome back. Another mission you can do in around 10 minutes. Take your ships to the nearby shore and disembark a single unit. Once Gargarensis sees him, he will start raining down meteors from the sky. Make sure you are far away enough. Then, take out the nearby fortresses and establish a base. And by that, I mean a town center so we can see the objective locations, and a temple to ramp up favor generation. Put all of your workers on the temple, and make as many as you can. We need a lot of favor in this one. Now, it's time for the strategy. We use the underworld passage to teleport to the top of the map, take down the tower and bring the prisoners back with the passage, putting them on the boat. Push forward to the next group and kill the hydras defending them, and take everyone back to meet the first attack wave. Once you have enough favor for another passage, take the furthest one, defended by a colossus and some towers. From here, we could go to the town center one, but it's quite strong and the enemy has a large army there. So we return home. At 225 favor, we can summon our third passage, right next to the enemy fortress. Take it down, move the prisoners back, and with at least 15 of them on the boat, we can sail to the small island and unload them to win the mission. Chapter 32, A Place in My Dreams. The final chapter in the campaign. Start by ramping up your economy with the acquisition of a second town center to the right of the Egyptian base. Train some units to defend. I used archers and minotaurs for the most part, as the attacks aren't anything crazy. But you still have to help your allies, the Norse one in particular. They will also provide you with units from time to time, and once you get the Son of Osiris, the waves will be easier to deal with. Just make sure to keep him alive. Build a fortress and age up. I chose Hephaestus for the plenty vaults and colossi. Now it's time to save up resources. More exactly, 5,000 of each. Don't be afraid to use the market to balance them out if you need to. I couldn't save my ally, but at least he served an important purpose, to defend me until we can start the construction of a wonder. Once you can, start it and assign all of the workers to it. The army now stays beside it to defend it, as it's our only way to victory. It took me about 5 minutes and 67 villagers, but it's done. And we received the blessing of Zeus' power, as well as the creating a masterpiece achievement. Bless Arkantos and send him to fight the statue of Poseidon. I did send my army as well, as it got a bit close near the end, but the statue goes down and the mission ends. After the cutscenes are done, we return to the campaign menu and get Arkantos ascended, marking the end of the campaign. With the Follow the Trident campaign done, we've made a nice dent in the achievements, sitting at 21 out of 50 for now. I hope you've enjoyed this series, and maybe some of the tips helped you beat the campaign on Titan as well. Our next step will be the Golden Gift campaign. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Take care.